Hi, my name is Georgia Rose. I am a clinical psychologist with over 21 years of experience working with families. I have had the fortune of working to support families on their journeys of living their most meaningful lives. I want to invite you to join me with the VM Foundation as we travel across the island, asking you for your most pressing questions on this amazing journey of parenting. Come along, let's see what you had to ask and hear the suggestions and recommendations that we had to share.
Hi, as a first-time parent, what's one piece of advice you would give to me to becoming a new mother?
Welcome to parenting. It's such an amazing journey, and it can also be very scary and quite unknown. I want to suggest that as we embark on this new role and capacity in life, that we take the time to reflect on what we want our brand of parenting to feel like, look like, and be experienced by our children. Be reminded that parenting is a lived experience. When we step into the role of parenting, we take into it our own experiences of having been parented. That is not always the best approach for your new child to be. So I want you to think about and to reflect how you want your child to experience you. What do you want your philosophy of parenting to be about? It's integral that you know that the journey of parenting is an intentional one. You have the capacity and the tools to make it what you want it to be. There'll be lots of advice, lots of people telling you what you should do and who you should be as a mother or as a father. It's very important that you are what you would like to be. How do you envision yourself as a parent?
So I'm a new mom. I have about 5 years experience doing this. One of the things that I'm not necessarily clear about is how do I discipline without beating or shouting?
I love this question and congratulations on being a mother. Welcome to motherhood. I like the fact that you use the word discipline versus punishment. That's something that culturally a lot of us do not understand the difference. When we speak about discipline, what we're trying to do is to change behaviors. I want to suggest to you, mommy, that you begin to understand what are the factors that promote effective discipline within children. One, it has to be consistent. You have to make sure that the rules are always the same. Children often share with us how confusing it is to follow the rules that parents lay out because they often seem to change. If you are consistent, then you will find that your structure and your rules will work a lot better. The other thing is you want to make sure that you're very clear on the behaviors that you want to modify in your child. The experts tell us that it is much easier and way more successful if we reinforce the positive behaviors. If you spend more time encouraging your child to engage in the behaviors that you want, you will find that you have to spend less time trying to negotiate about the behaviors you do not like or do not desire. Be clear, be firm, be fair, be gentle, and most of all, be consistent.
I'm a mother and I'm a grandmother. How do you get your child to open up his or her feelings?
Isn't it a blessing to be both a parent and a grandmother? If we want our children to feel comfortable speaking to us, we have to create a space that welcomes them in. That might mean stepping away or managing the distractions within our own space, putting our cell phones down and turning our attention away from the other competing demands. Ask your child, how was your day today? What did you do? Was there anything that was particularly exciting? What did you have for lunch? Was it any good? Give them the opportunity to just share. While they're sharing, allow them to be themselves. Don't interrupt, don't stop them, and definitely don't get upset. When they say to you, that made me sad, don't rubbish or make them feel foolish for being sad. Ask them to tell you more about those emotions. If we make it a norm to talk to our children now, as they get older and become adults, they will find it a part of their routine and find it very easy to continue speaking to us. Remember, if we're not speaking to our children, someone else will. Who better to do it than us? Make their emotions a comfortable part of the conversation and continue on your amazing journey of parenting.
All right, so how do we as parents get our child or children to cooperate with us when we give them chores to do and they basically expressing to us that they are stressed, they are overworked, what expert advice can be provided to help us as parents?
Chores are an integral part of personality development and character formation. It teaches our children responsibility. How do we get our children to buy into chores? 1, we want to introduce chores early. They don't have to be completed in a perfect way. So for example, small children can be encouraged to make their beds. We know it's not going to be perfect, but we're teaching them a sense of responsibility and accountability for their space. I want to suggest to parents that chores should never be overwhelming. We don't want to make our children little maids or butlers on our behalf. We want to make sure that the chores are age appropriate and they give space for relaxation and fun. A balanced child is a healthier child. Don't overwhelm them. If they tell you that you're feeling stressed, what about doing the chore along with them, making it a family activity so it seems less burdensome and more of a collective activity? Remember, chores are an essential part to personality and character development. Start them early.
All right, so I'm a mother of 2 preteens, I guess you can call them. And I have a tendency, I react very quickly and I might get upset. And so sometimes I'm kind of afraid to come to me with certain things. So it's under that guise that I want to say, okay, how do I approach it? How do I make sure that no matter what happens, that their best interest is always looked out for?
Being able to understand how our children receive us is integral to the parent-child relationship. If we want our children to feel comfortable sharing with us, we have to create a space where they know they can tell us anything, no matter what the consequences might be. I always want to encourage parents to intentionally commit to listening versus responding and reacting. Allow our child to share what's going on with them. Ask them pointed questions such as, why did you do that? Why did you feel the need to share? How does that make you feel? Is there anything specific that you would like for me to do? Also, give yourself some time to process what has been shared before responding to your children. It also can be a good thing to speak with what has been shared with you with a trusted friend to get a second opinion, to allow yourself to calm down a little bit more before you speak to your children or respond. Our capacity to interact and engage with our children builds them up as individuals, and we most definitely want them to understand that no matter what the consequence might be, that they should always feel comfortable coming to speak to us. Because if they can't speak to us, they'll speak to someone else. And there's no guarantee that the other person is going to act in their best interest. Help your children to understand that you mean the best for them. Doing that takes some degree of intentionality. We have to be calm, we have to be patient, and we have to be willing to hear their side of the story.
How do you deal with a 2-year-old who doesn't understand the concept of no, and they don't want to listen to you, and the law says you cannot hit them? How do you deal with that? How do you train them to understand that mommy says no, you're not supposed to do that? And how do you get past them not responding to you? And what do you do to engage them better so that they understand that you mean no and the argument done?
Welcome to the world of what is often called the terrible twos. I always want to remind parents that children saying no is very important and an essential part of development and growth. At 2 years old, they're learning to be independent, to have their own thoughts and what we like to call a theory of mind. They want to be able to say that their thoughts are different from yours. So I want to challenge you not to see the no as defiance, but to see the no as a new dimension in your child's development. How do we handle the no's? Just be consistent. Help your child to know that your decisions are in their best interest. Be comfortable if they cry, flail, or throw a little tantrum. These are essential experiences for learning to self-regulate. We don't have to hit our children to get them to comply. They're testing the waters. They are going to say no 100 times just to see if you will give in. And if you hold firm on your positions, they'll come to understand what you mean when you say no. And eventually, you'll get their full compliance and total respect.
Well, as a mother of a 15-year-old, I would like to know, how do I monitor a 15-year-old? How do I protect him from certain things that are happening in the world nowadays, on the internet and worldwide?
How do we protect our children when they exist in a space that's larger than the safety and comfort of our home? The simple answer is that we have to be honest. Use and seek every opportunity to have gentle, light, open, and meaningful conversations with our children. Try to find out, what do they already know? Where do they seek the source of their information? Challenge them in their thinking. Share with them our own real-life experiences. Create a space where we can dialogue and have conversations, where they're not scared to tell you what their thoughts are. Take a moment to appreciate and understand where they are coming from. I firmly believe that the greatest parent is the one that always speaks to their child. There are very little secrets that are kept, because be reminded, our children are going to be curious. And if they can't seek the answers from us, they'll seek it from someone else. Keep speaking to your children. You will be amazed at the difference it makes.
Hi, I'm a mother of 4 children, but I have 3 going to school right now, 2 high schools and 1 primary level. My major concern is, what's the usage of the phone, the cell phone, for social media during the academic year or the school year? How much time should they allot it for social media, homework versus exam? So my question is, are they using it too much?
How much device use is too much? This is a global question, and unfortunately, there are no clear answers. The research is also inconclusive of how much our children should be on devices. The first rule: no child under 5 years of age should be introduced to any form of screen time. We would love to see language and literacy capacities developed first. For older children, we recommend to every family to have a device use policy. How much does your child need to be on a device? This is a sticky question because for many programs and many schools, the device is intertwined within the learning. So we as the parent have to understand the needs and the practicality of using the device for each child, because let's be honest, it can be quite addictive, and even adults struggle to step away from their devices. Therefore, can you imagine the challenges that our children have in managing themselves? So we want to encourage, think about how the devices play into the role in your family. Make rules and positions that meet your individual family's goals and needs.
Being the father of 2, I am battling with the reality that how do I ask for support without coming across as a burden to others? How do I?
I love this question, and I love when fathers are so intentional in their roles as an important and valuable part of their children's life. We should never hesitate to ask for support, but it is key that we know what our support system looks like and what their capacities are. We want to manage our expectations. Who is in your corner? What does your support system look like? Who can you comfortably and safely reach out for help? No single parent can do it on their own. Having the right support in a consistent way makes all the difference in parenting. I want to encourage all our parents to grow your community of support. Seek out those whose parenting philosophies and strategies mirror your own. Those individuals where their home is like a second home to your child or children. In that way, you will find yourself less reluctant or hesitant to ask for help. We all need help, we all benefit from help. So never be scared or afraid to reach out to those that are in your corner to help you in your journey of parenting.
As a person who used to co-parent, I no longer have access. I no longer have that privilege. So as a single parent, what are your advice, or what are some tips you could give for that transition?
Being involved in the parenting journey by yourself is never easy, regardless of what the circumstances may have been that led you on this road. Having a group of individuals who stand in our corner, who support us and help us along this journey is very integral to parenting success. So while the other parent may not necessarily be physically present, who are the other individuals that can stand in and fill that gap? This may be neighbors, colleagues, relatives such as aunts, uncles, and cousins. Do not be afraid or scared to pull on your resources. Always remember that old adage, it takes a village to raise a child. We all cannot do it on our own. Reach out, seek support, use the help to help you on this journey of parenting.
I am a mother, and my child always goes on social media.
I have one question. How can I manage her time on social media without invading her privacy?
We like to encourage parents to create a social media policy for their household. What does this mean? What are you comfortable as a parent with your child doing on social media? What are the sites or programs or apps that you believe are safe for your children to explore? What are the days that you believe are most ideal for your child to pay attention to social media? For example, in my household, our children are only allowed to use devices and screen times on the weekends for a few hours at a time after they have completed their homework, their chores, and have gone outside and engaged in some physical activity. If you make it a part of the normal process and engagement in your household, you will soon come to find that it falls into your routine and it becomes less of a struggle.
How do I prevent my child from participating in risky behavior? For example, my son is deeply steeped in marijuana smoking, and nothing that I do or say to him is, preventing him from doing so. So how do I get to that place where I can help him to recognize that this is harmful to him?
This is such an important question, and one I believe that families globally struggle with. The truth is, marijuana as a substance has become widely available globally, and many of our children may not fully understand the negative impacts of engaging in substance use early. I always want to encourage families, when faced with challenges of substance use or experimentation, to seek the advice of the professionals. This is more than a simple conversation. We want your son to have a fulsome understanding of how his use of marijuana might affect his development and later success. I want to encourage this parent and all parents that might be faced with this challenge within their household and families to seek the engagement and the intervention of the National Council on Drug Abuse. The National Council on Drug Abuse is fully staffed with counselors and other support personnel who have years of experience and training in helping children and other members of our society interrupt the use of substances that might adversely affect their well-being. These agencies are free of cost and open to the general public and can be found across the island. Please reach out to the Ministry of Health or the National Council on Drug Abuse to obtain further assistance on this matter. The journey of parenting is such an amazing one. While we all might be different in our roles and capacities, our thoughts, hopes, and concerns as parents are quite universal. The range of concerns and issues might be quite varied. We hope that something that we spoke about today resonated with you. Until next time, happy parenting.